Steve here with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here for a little Monte Monday action. We left off last week with getting that all welded up and ground down, and then we were working on getting this welded up, and I ran out of gas. At the end of last video, I remember I was saying that it was welding really weird, and I had said that when my welder starts running low on gas, it starts welding really weird. So after I shut down the camera and whatnot, I checked my bottle, and it was still coming out of the gun. You could hear it when you squeeze the trigger. You could hear the welding gas still coming out of the gun, but both my gauges were at 0. So that's why we were having it weld funny. So over the past week, I did go get my welding bottle refilled, so we're good to go there. One of the things that I was complaining about with working on this lower fender is this. So it was making it a little tricky to weld with it moving like that, because every time I squeezed the trigger, the wire was coming out to hit the fender and make our weld, and it was actually pushing the fender back. So we got that side welded, or got that little corner welded, but we still have more to weld, and we have body work to do. So first thing I'm going to start with this morning is that we are going to build a little brace that goes from the bottom of the fender here. Make sure you guys can see me. So bottom of the fender here up to the core support right here. So kind of just like and some of you may know, some of you may not, but like pickup truck bedsides, they have a bar that goes from the edge of the wheel well up to the bottom of the floor on the bedside, and that keeps that bedside from wiggling around. So we're basically gonna make one of those. Well, we gotta make two, one for each side. So I walked over by my scrap metal and took a look to see what we had. Normally they're made out of round bar. You heat up the end red hot with the torch, you smash it flat, and then you can drill your hole in that, bend it, do whatever you need, and then you have a round bar. That's normally how they are made from the factory when you see them on pickup truck beds. But I have this right here, which already has a hole at the one end. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll land on one of those holes, but I doubt it. But what this is this is a the rod for like a garage door lock. Normally you have, like in your garage door, there will be the thing that you turn here, and when you turn it, those rods, they run to each end and they lock into the track of the door, and when you spin your handle, it pulls the rods both sides and unlocks your door. Well, none of my doors have that. Like you can see here, like this had one at one point in time. It may be on the outside door. Here, so it has them here. This door don't work. This one I don't ever use. I think it's locked. I don't have keys for it. So, but that's what it is. That's how it works. I've never messed with that. I just have a padlock on the outside of the door, so So, but that's what it is. Not to get off track there. I started to get off track a little bit. It was like, hey, these doors actually have them. I don't think I've ever paid much attention to them. So, first thing that we're going to do here, we need to drill this hole out a little bigger. One size bigger. Man, I'm just inching in on this guy, huh? So I need to go one size bigger. I think the size we need, I'm out of those sizes. I'm having an issue trying to get this right here. I think we're just going to have to go oversized. Let's try again. Once I get it figured out here, it should go a lot faster. So now put this in the vice grip or the vice, hopefully. What we're gonna have to do here is do it like this. Bend a little more. Okay, so kind of did a couple marks here. So I'm thinking this is where we need to cut it, but we need to bend it there. So I'm gonna put the bend first, and then we'll check and make sure we're gonna make it. I think we're good. I think I'm gonna cut it a little bit on this side of the line, but I think we're pretty good. Okay, so it looks like it needs to be moved up a little bit more. So I'm going to straighten this out. We're going to move the bend up some. It needs to go up about 1/4 inch. Okay. I'm gonna bend this back just a little, and then we'll drill the hole. So I can't really get it in there, but we have our our circle marked here. So I'm just going to kind of draw a straight line going across there, straight-ish line. Use a center punch. All right. The hole was not the easiest to drill there. As you can see, I was struggling. I'm sure there's better ways of doing it that I wouldn't possibly hurt myself. Much better. You guys see that? Should have did this last week. I'm actually wiggling the whole car. Okay. So not gonna make you watch me do that again. You guys seen how I did it, but I need to make another one for the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll be back to start grinding these welds down, and we still got to finish welding up this here. So grind this one, weld this one, but I think we're good to go now. Should have did that last week. All right, we'll be back. All right, we're back. So we finished these up, both sides. So that second one was going way faster until I realized that I had bent everything the wrong way. And by wrong way, I mean, like, see how this one, I put this line on the inside, and when I bent up the other one, the line was on the other side. So I had to, straighten it back out and rebend it. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't know if those are going to be a permanent item. Right now they're just kind of temporary. I don't mind what I made them out of, so if we end up using them, we'll sandblast them and we'll paint them black. And we'll probably ream out the holes on both sides to give adjustment. Reason being, for one, I don't think that the core support is centered in the frame rails. We just kind of put it on. If it's off, it's only off by a little bit. But, if we slide that core support over, then, the bars that we made, they're probably going to be a little off. So, putting some adjustment in those will allow us to use those. Now, I've talked about it before. I wasn't planning on putting the factory wheel tubs back in here because the passenger side is broke. We modified the firewall. We got rid of the brackets that those mount to on the firewall. If we go and end up putting the factory ones back in, I don't think that that's a huge deal that those would be missing. But, my plan was we were going to just make something out of metal in there. If that's the case, if we end up making something metal out of there, then these brackets we just made will be used. So, but for right now, they're just being used to hold the front of the fender. Maybe we'll have to make new ones. We'll have to make better ones. Maybe I'll make them out of round rod. I don't know. But at least we have them made, and it's a template that we can go off of. But anyways, that is done, both sides, and I'm gonna start grinding this down. So since we're nice and sturdy there now, let's go ahead and grind this. So we got this one grinded down. There's a few spots that I can see some light through, so we're gonna go ahead and hit those. Much better without the fender moving, I'll tell you what. Blow good. I want to blow good. Okay, you guys shut off in there somewhere. I have no idea what you guys seen and what you guys didn't. Well, we got this spot grinded up, and we finished welding that up and got that grinded up. So we're good to go, and I can get to the inside of both of those patches, and we can get the inside cleaned up and taken care of as well, just so that, you know, we don't have, it's always good to be able to get to both sides of your patch and maintain both sides, so that way you don't have rust coming through. Most of the time when you do a patch and you can't get to the inside of that patch, well, there's bare metal back there because you welded and you burned off anything that's in that area of your weld, and it will start rusting back there. And if you leave any pinholes, it will actually creep through that pinhole and you know, start to create rust underneath your bodywork. So you know, I try to make sure that we don't leave any pinholes behind. You may have seen in other videos, if you watch some of our other videos, that like I'll come in with a light from the back and I'll shine on the back of the panel if I can get to it, and make sure that we get any pinholes that are in there, just for that reason. But when I can get to both sides, I protect both sides, stops it from rusting and any chances of it creeping through to the other side. So, but I think what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna clean up the little bit of mess that we have here, and we're gonna get the burnishing tool out, and I think we're gonna start stripping this fender down. Now, I don't expect this fender to, you know, come out super nice and clean and whatnot. This fender is going to have to be sandblasted, But that probably won't be till next Monday, weather permitting, as long as it's not raining out. We can take this fender out and we can get it all sandblasted, and then we can start body work on it and start working on getting it ready for primer. So I figure we'll get this fender done and get it all primed, and then we'll work on the other fenders. So that'll probably be, you know, a few weeks down the road that we'll work on the other fenders. So who knows, maybe there's not a whole lot of body work on the other side. If we get this fender cleaned up and we still have some time this evening, maybe we'll start working on cleaning up the other fender, and getting that fender stripped down. And then maybe next Monday, we can sandblast both fenders. I know we still got to do some patchwork on the front of that fender over there. We got to get rid of the marker light. We got to fix that indent in there like we did on this side. But as far as that fender goes, like, it doesn't have nearly the repair that this side did. All we have to do over there is the custom work that we're doing by shaving the lights. So I have no problem stripping that fender, getting it sandblasted and whatnot, and then we can fix that light. Excuse me, I had the burpees in there. So yeah, let me clean up this mess, and we'll work on starting to get this fender cleaned up. I got us set up here to start using the burnishing tool. Now we're going to do the best we can with this guy. Reason that I'm saying it like that is because this wheel that I have on here is off of Amazon. I figured I'd give it a try because it was 2 of these barrels for the price of what I paid for 1 at Harbor Freight. So I bought them just to try them, and I don't like them. They do not do half the job that a Harbor Freight does. Half the job of Harbor Freight does. Say that 10 times. So we will we'll see what we can get done with this guy. Hoping maybe we got that a little warm. I was hoping that maybe we could push that out. Maybe when we weld up these holes and cool it off, it'll. So what used to be an emblem here, it said Monte Carlo, and somebody hammered it in. You can see the hammer marks in it, and then they filled it with Bondo. Not me, but it looks like work I would have done 25 years ago. But yeah, we got that kind of cleaned up. There's a dent here, and then we got, decent sized dent here. I think I think some of this did come out. I mean, we got it pretty warm with that thing, and then I blew it off. And it doesn't feel nearly as bad as it did, but it's still there. I don't think I can get back there. But maybe what I can do is I don't have a hammer here at the moment. I can get my fist in there, and if I clench my fist, it pushes this out. Maybe we can hammer around it. I don't have the compressor on. Alright, we'll be back once that's filled back up. Okay, well, we got this fender pretty much cleaned up. You see, I kind of took the mud hog to it. Wanted to see if maybe it would clean up a little bit better, but nah, that's a no-go. So there's a dent here which is pushed up into here. It's actually like raised out here. So we need to pull this and hammer this down. I reach back here, and right where that dent is, it feels like there's something back there. I don't know if it's filler or seam sealer, but there's something all boogered up right where that dent is. So I don't know, did that dent occur and it, cracked something inside, like the paint inside, and somebody put something over it? I don't know. It's kind of weird that it's in the exact same spot that dent is. But we're gonna have to pull that dent, and then we got to weld up the 3 holes where the emblem went. And I'm hoping that's all dented in there. Somebody hammered it to dent it in to fill it with filler, and I'm hoping that the heat from welding will take care of that, because I can push it out with my hand, so it's not bad. So maybe some heating and some cooling in that area will help straighten it out. But I think I think the next step is the dent in those 3 holes, and then it's going to be sandblasting this fender. We're not going to do any sandblasting tonight on it. For one, I don't want to do too much sandblasting here inside the shop, because we have been painting the Jeep. So I don't want to. Sandblasting just causes way too much dust in here. So I don't want to do that inside here. And outside, it was supposed to be raining all evening. Now it hasn't been raining all evening, but I have been outside a couple times where it's drizzly. So we're not going to be doing no sandblasting outside tonight. Plus, it's 8 o'clock now. So there's maybe 45 minutes of decent light left out there, and the sun's gonna start going down. Right now it gets dark between 9 and 9:30. During the summer, like, it's great out here. Like 10:30 at night, like it's still dusk out. Dusk, dawn, whatever. The sun's just going down at like 10:30. So it's really nice out here during the summer. But you know, we're still in springtime, not quite there yet. So, but still, you know, 9:30 at night, and it's still kind of daylight out. It's nice. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna shut you guys down for the moment. Colleen was out here about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and she was talking about having a campfire tonight. Which we need to have some campfires, because you guys seen the amount of stuff that we have to burn here. When I moved in here, there is a bunch of firewood piled up along the back of the shop, and we have just added to it, so it's gotten even bigger. And then I have a bunch of stuff laying up by the road in the front that needs to be cut up. A tree that came down that needs to be cut up and moved back here. There's a tree that came down in the back that needs to be cut up and brought up here. And then over the winter, we cleaned up all the sticks and branches and everything that fell over the winter, and we just have pile after pile after pile of stuff that needs to be burned. Last week or the week before, we burned for like 5 hours straight, just non-stop burning. Just, you know, wood, just firewood, sticks and leaves and firewood. And yeah, it just didn't even put a dent in anything that we got going on out there. So it just keeps piling up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we need to start having campfires out there and burning some of this firewood. So yeah, so my point of the story is I think we're done working on this for now. You know, like I said, it's 8 o'clock at night. I'm gonna call it a night a couple hours early, and I think we're gonna go have a fire out there. So, fire. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. We actually have something that kind of looks like a Fender again. Amazing. Didn't think I'd be fixing these, but here we are. A few more weeks, it should look brand new. Alright, well, we will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. I'm out.
Oh,